So that was the inhaler. What else?
Oh, here we have soy sauce. I have a client right now who had, I think it's called sashimi, and he.
What's sashimi?
I don't know, but it's I believe it's food. It's
okay.
At some sort of restaurant involves.
Okay. Maybe some sort of Asian food.
Yeah, I believe so. Maybe meat, fish, not sure.
Okay.
And he had soy sauce.
When we post this online, someone can reply and tell us what sashimi is.
Yes, let me know. And he had soy sauce. Now, I'm not sure how this works, but in a trial I had in, let's see, where was that? It was Santa Clarita. The police officer said that these machines only read alcohol. So I had him read the ingredients of the soy sauce, which is water, wheat, soybeans, salt, sodium, benzoate, and a preservative.
So the point is there's no alcohol in this.
Right.
Okay.
And then what I did was I consumed a little bit and then blew it into the machine for the jury to show that there are other things that affect the machine.
Okay.
Let's
and let's
want me to give
it? Yeah, I want you to try. Can you do it?
Are you sure you don't want to do it? Because I could have a salt stroke. I've been doing this all day.
I don't want you to have a salt stroke. So
I can do it. I'll chance it. I have insurance.
You're scaring me.
No, I'll give it a shot.
I've never heard of a salt stroke. Oh, man.
Okay.
All right.
Gone. It's blowing the machine.
Okay, so earlier we saw that your breath had 0 alcohol on it. You did the inhaler and it showed 0.04 with 1 puff. Now you've just swallowed some soy sauce, just regular soy sauce here, and you're at 0.06, almost
0.069, 0.07, which is almost at the legal limit.
Wow.
So now if I've had 1 beer 2 hours ago, and you add that to that, I'm guilty.
Right.
And the problem with soy sauce especially is a lot of people have it with sticky food such as rice, sushi, and those things stick to your teeth and so forth. And again, we're measuring 1 milliliter of air.
Okay.
So if we just get a little bit of contamination, we can get these off the chart readings. Mm-hmm. Another problem that the government doesn't tell you is these machines are updated all the time. Now, this one's called the Alco Sensor 4. It's a police issue used by the Highway Patrol, Los Angeles County Sheriffs, and many agencies throughout the country. There was the Alco Sensor 3.
Okay.
It's no longer in use. They didn't tell us what was wrong with it, why they needed the 4. Same thing, they didn't tell us about the 2 or the 1. Now there's an Alco Sensor 5. It's being used in Ventura County, not yet used here or with the Highway Patrol, but they didn't tell us why they needed to improve it or what they changed. And the mechanisms and the way these machines work is considered a trade secret, so they don't tell us exactly how it works.
Okay.
But there are
so there could be internal problems with it that the regular person would not know about, and they never will because they went ahead and upgraded to the newest levels.
Yes.
Okay. And so then what of that? I mean, what difference does that make?
Well, we know that they're changing the technology and they're obviously making improvements if they're getting more expensive machines.
They obviously need to.
Yes, but my issue is there are a lot of people who are convicted of these machines, and when that machine is now obsolete, well, those convictions aren't wiped off the books.
Okay, so say the Sheriff's Department in this one county is using the 3, but we know that there's the 5 out there. That could not bode well for that Sheriff's Department, because there could be faulty issues with the 3 that nobody necessarily knows about.
Well, yes, but the problem is a lot of times jurors tend to believe that these things work because they just see them and they don't know anything about them. And well, the government uses them; they must work. They must be accurate. But there's a lot of issues with breath testing in general. For example, if you have alcohol in your airways because you've been consuming alcohol, you're going to have a certain amount. Let's just say 10 milliliters of air. Mm-hmm. Now, the result that you're going to get when you blow into the breathalyzer is going to vary based on a lot of different factors. One huge factor is the amount of air you take in before you blow out. Because if you take in more air, you're going to dilute the alcohol. And so you're going to read lower.
Okay.
So that means you inhale less, higher reading.
You'll have a higher
you inhale
reading.
more, you dilute it, you're going to get a lower reading. Well, what if the person is shorter? For example, somebody who's 6'4" is going to have a larger volume. And a world-famous pulmonologist, Dr. Michael Listala, has studied this a lot, and he's explained that women have a lower lung capacity than men. People who are older have a lower lung capacity, smaller stature, lower lung capacity. So the breath test would discriminate against 10% just based on their
size.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Another factor is if you have the temperature matters.
Okay.
And if you have a higher body temperature because of an illness or a woman's on her cycle or something of that nature, you will read higher.
Okay.
The machine does not account for any of that.
Very interesting. Okay, so I don't think we'll have time to do the toothpaste test, but that one is because of the mouthwash element in it?
This has scope in it, and I believe that that's the reason the toothpaste will read on these machines.
Okay, okay. Yeah, because there's alcohol in scope, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, yeah.
But there is literature out there that other things, such as little breath strips that have menthol, which is not really an alcohol, will read on these machines.
Yeah, and I've seen you do a test with like the breath spray, the Banaka or something like that.
Yes, those will also read. And a lot of people don't realize this when they're gonna take a test, and you know there's all kinds of other factors, such as if someone burps or regurgitates.
Oh my.
A big problem is if you have acid reflux, which means that your lower esophageal sphincter doesn't seal all the way, it opens up and air from the stomach can come up. So alcohol in your stomach, which alcohol turns to air at body temperature. If you poured alcohol out on the pavement, it'll evaporate.
Let me ask you a quick question. How does MAD, I wonder if MAD gets on your case, you know, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I mean, and I think one thing I want everybody to understand here is, in doing this show, I'm in no way advocating that drinking and driving is okay, or that if you've been drinking, you should be able to get off. I think we all know that drinking and driving is bad. It's wrong. Don't do it. But maybe it's time for the technology to catch up with some of the problems that we're seeing in some of these pieces of equipment. So with that all being said, I wonder how much, what you would say to someone with MAD, for example, who's sitting here going, you're talking about all these things, and it could get somebody off for drinking and driving.
Well, you know, the first thing we need to acknowledge is that, you know, drinking and driving is something that's dangerous and should absolutely not happen.
Right.
Now, as far as people breaking the law and being convicted of driving under the influence, that mere conviction, if you apply for a job and there's somebody there who knows somebody who's been harmed by a drunk driver or heard stories about it, or it just sounds, it's stigmatized. It just sounds this person's extremely responsible. If you give somebody that label for life, what any prudent person would say is, let's just make sure the evidence is solid, because it's not illegal to have one glass of wine at dinner and then drive,
right?
Especially if you're a large male. But if he gets pulled over, should the machine read that he's guilty when he's not? And all I ask is that the evidence be solid. And if charges are filed against someone, my job is only to make sure that this evidence is solid and accurate, not to get the person off. Mothers Against Drunk Driving have an excellent point. They have excellent programs, but I think they also could appreciate that people that I represent go to trial and have to sit there and be judged by their peers and listen to the government put on testimony about all the harms of drunk driving, hear all the possible consequences, and after they do that, they're way less likely to drink and drive than people who just plead guilty and avoid the whole experience.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. Dr. DUI Okorie Okorocha, thank you so much for being here. I think this is very eye-opening, and I think it's going to make a difference in a lot of people's lives.
Okay, don't take this test.
Okay, thank you so much, and we'll have you on for more, I think probably in the future, because there's some elements that we didn't get to talk about.
Sure.
Thanks for being here. And that's it for this episode of CCN Game Changers, extraordinary people impacting our everyday lives. Thanks for watching. See you next time. I lost it now, but there was something I wanted to say like right before I had to say goodbye, and now I can't think of it. But I think this was really, really eye-opening. I think it's going to have a lot of people mad at us.